Skyen skulle dø is the name of it, and it means the whore had to die. It's one of the first songs I wrote that then also ended up being the first song on the album. It's about that I kill off this whore person, but also it's more of a symbolic thing as well. I wanted it to be the opening of the record, so I wanted to be like the coming of the north with this choir piece and the riff, the guitar riff, the theme, you could say. It's very folk music based, more so than perhaps metal. Also almost in a tribal sense, you know. I was picturing me walking with an army to the tempo of this riff. I suppose it also feels a bit like suicidal idea of killing off a part of oneself, which I think this whole record is a little bit about as well. I would like Hævnen to be the first song because I think it was a great combination of what I wanted to combine in this album, which is traditional black metal, but also this folk, traditional Scandinavian folk music, and the choir pieces, the more ethereal, and then scream vocals, which is something I worked on this record more intensely than for the EP, because this song actually has a verse, which is, I usually just put my songs together from different pieces like a classical work, but this song does have what feels almost like a verse and then a chorus and then a verse. And I think it was a good way to show what's about to happen with this album. To me, Underbarn, it's maybe the one I care for the most, personally. It's definitely a song that anyone who knows me knows that I love Bergtat, the Ulver EP. When I initially started talking to Christopher about him producing my record, this was the last song I sent to him, and I said, "You know what this sounds like." And he wrote back, "I know what this sounds like, and I'm very honored and happy that you want to continue the sound that he created." So it means a lot to me musically, and then I wrote the lyrics about my supporters that have been supporting my music and me from the start. So that felt like the best song for me to do a video for. I also wanted to feature a child in it, which is a child that I know. It feels a bit like she became this voice of purity for me in the video, leading me towards the next place that I want to go in my life and in my mind, and also a bit like a child version of Myrkur. Well, that song is just a choir piece, Vølvens Spådom, and it's based on one of the poems of the Poetic Edda, so one of the sagas. We have these characters, Vølve, which means a truth teller. So it's these women that foresee things to happen, both for gods and men, and one of their poems was that, the predictions of the Vølve. So I took these lyrics and wrote a melody to them and made the choir arrangements. I love doing choir arrangements so much that sometimes I just sit up and do it all night to myself that no one will hear. So that was one of those that I just spent so much time on perfecting that. I wrote the melody on the piano first, and then I sung that melody, and then I started adding all these layers to it. I both love this approach to choir that's very traditional, almost as a church angle. If you take folk singing in the Norse, it doesn't have usually that many different voices going. It's more like call response, things like that. But I like to make it a little bit more challenging for my ears and my voice.